my dear students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you all know, I am already working in a corporate company, as you have seen in my previous vlogs, and I hope you will watch it. For today, I decided to film again tutorial videos slowly but one step at a time during my vacant hours in my work from home. So without further ado, let's go to our intro. Bigyan niyo po ng suporta ang channel na to sa pamamagitan ng pag-like, pag-comment, pag-share at pag-subscribe sa aking mga videos. Daghang salamat! One problem I noticed when I was a teacher way back in 2021 was students are having a hard time visualizing or making the research title. Nahihirapan sila kung paano i-turn yung ideas nila into a research title. In this video, I will give you the guidelines or the tips on how you will create your research title, and I will also give you how to construct your general problem and your specific question. So magkaiba yun sila. So today, it is the research title, research problem, or general problem and specific questions. If you need this in your research paper, let us begin. Hello everyone, for today's video, we will move to our discussion on the things that you need to do before writing your research. I know it may sound silly since I already uploaded a chapter 1, 2, and 3 in this channel, but many of you are commenting that I should redo it because of the background music that is very disturbing when you listen. So I am trying to re-record everything since my files are already lost. So we are starting from the bottom, or we're starting from the start. We are starting from the very first thing that we need to do, which is what are the things that you need to do before writing your research. So many of the students are having struggles or having challenges when they are creating the research title. But before jumping into writing, you need to know first the research problem that you want to solve or that piques your interest. So an easy way to conceptualize your research problem is to know its elements. So what are these elements? So here are the elements of the research problem. We have the aim or the purpose, or the why do you want to conduct this research study or research problem. Next is the subject matter or topic, which is the what. It is the thing that you want to focus on in your study. Next is the locale or where. You need to know where is that problem or where is that problem existing. And it is important to be specific since you don't want to have a really broad population or a really broad study. So you need to be specific on your locale, your period also, which is the duration or what time frame you want to do your study, and the population, which is who or from whom you will get your data from. So here's an example of the elements of the research problem. So first we have our aim, purpose, or the why. Why do you want to conduct this study? So an example is to determine the status. So as you can notice, aim is an action you want to conduct. So he or she wants to determine the status. Another example is to quantify, to evaluate, to determine, to know. So any action that you want to do or why you are doing your research problem. Is the subject matter or topic, which is the what of your research problem. An example is teaching of science. So this is the subject or the topic that you want to focus on. However, it doesn't mean that it is a subject, it is a literal subject in your school, like science. So it could be anything, or what is the thing that you want to focus on in your study. So if you have your why, which is your action verb, your action that you will do to the topic that you are proposing. So another example is your subject matter could be, another example is the growth of the specific plants, or the teenage pregnancy, or another topic could be the ability of the parents to sustain their children's needs. So anything, any topic that you want to focus on in your study. So next is the where, which is the locale. An example is senior high school in CTA. So you can put anything here that is accessible to you. So for example, you live in Batangas or in Pampanga, you want to focus on those areas. Next is the period of or time or when. So this is an example only. So you can put school year 2022-2023. Next is the population, which is who or from whom, which is an example is senior high school teachers, pupils, STEM students, young students, etc., etc. It is the people that you want to get data from. So how are these research elements of a research problem turn into a research title? As you can see, we already list the things or the elements of the research problem. What you will do is you need to combine everything in a way that it would be a sentence or it would make sense. So, for example, your research problem could be to determine the status of teaching science in senior high school in CTA during the school year 2022-2023. So that is your problem. You want to determine the status of teaching science. Maybe there's a problem in this specific senior high school in science that the students are getting low grades, etc., etc. So, yeah, as you can notice, we combine everything into a one sentence that would make sense. So that to determine the status of, which is the why, teaching science, which is the what, senior high school in CTA, which is our locale, and period, it's school year 2022-2023. And you may notice that I didn't include this, but you can. It will really depend on you on how to make your research problem concise and understandable by your readers. Next, so how will we make this research problem into a research title? So we already know that our research problem is this: to determine the status of teaching science in senior high school in CTA during the school year 2022-2023. Now, to make it more concise, making it more concise and brief will be your research title. So you can say or state the status of teaching science in senior high school in CTA during the school year 2022-2023, or the status of teaching science in senior high school in CTA, or the teaching of science in senior high school in CTA. So your research title can be any of this. It could be derived from your research problem actually. So it's easier, right? You can see that from the research problem, we just made it briefly and concisely, and you already have your research title. This is one easy way on writing your research title. For the second example, the status of teaching science in senior high school in CTA, make sure lang to include in your scope and limitations your where, your who, and your when. Yeah, depending, you need to include those things so that it will be distinguished by the reader, those specific things, or what are those elements of your research title. Actually, you can also omit this status since it is already understandable. So it could be teaching science in senior high school in CTA during the school year 2022-2023. That is a really simple way on creating your research title. So, for example, if you are a STEM student, you could be, let's go back. So, if, for example, you are a STEM student, you want to create a new fabric from bamboos. For the aim, you can do to determine the durability. That is your aim, your purpose. So, your subject matter or topic is you can create bamboo leaves as fabric. So, that is the main point of your study. Local, you can include where you will get your bamboo trees or bamboo leaves. So, for example, you will get your bamboo leaves on the mountain of Agad-Agad. Yeah, that's just an example. So, period of time, I'm not really sure if you can write it here, but if you have anything to write here, you can write it. And from the population, from who or from whom. Yeah, it depends. You can also write the people that you will be getting data from. So, for example, you will ask scientists, or maybe if you have the fabric, you will ask the students or any individuals who will be wearing those fabric or clothes on. So that is an example. That is another example of creating your research problem. So for the research title of that example, you will be able to write the durability of bamboo the durability of bamboo leaves as fabric. Then you will write the other stuff again. Then you will write the other stuff about the locale, period of time, and population. Other guidelines in writing your research title. It must be conducted at the start of the research. Yeah, that's the point of this discussion. So you should write it in the start of your research so that you will have the basis or the guide on what to research from then on. It must contain the elements of the research problem. What again are the elements of the research problem? We have the aim, we have the subject matter or topic, we have the locale, we have the period, and we have the population. Next, it must be brief and concise as possible. And if the title consists of 2 to 3 lines, it should be written in inverted pyramid format. And this is optional. You can omit the phrases, the analysis, the study of, since it is already understandable, which is I already mentioned earlier. So now we already have our research title. So how do I create my general problem and specific questions? Your general problem is already your research problem, which is we already created on the previous slides. But that is the status of teaching science in senior high school in City A in school year 2022-2023 or during the school year 2022-2023. So it will be written in narrative form or ends in a period. Okay? Next, we have the specific problem or specific questions, which is written in interrogative form or ends in question mark. So, your general problem, since we already have this, you can create your specific question. So how will we create that? So yeah, this is our research problem again. So specific questions are the researchable part of your research. Always remember this. Your specific questions will help you complete your study, will help you make your research be researchable. Okay? It must be based on facts or known phenomena, can be attained to surveys, interviews, or research collecting methods. So, ang research questions pala, these questions will be used so that, or these questions will be answered through surveys, interviews, and research collecting methods. I will be giving you examples on the next videos on how to create surveys from your specific questions. Next, it contributes to the overall development of your research. So again, what I said, these specific questions are very important since when you answered or when the specific questions were answered, you will be able to conduct a conclusion on your research. So for example, we already have the research problem of this. Yeah, paulit-ulit na, di ba? Okay, so you should know the aspects related to this problem to get your specific questions. So example, since you want to determine the status of teaching science in senior high school, you want to know how qualified are the teachers handling science in senior high school and CTA. So, have a survey or interview to get the educational attainment of the teachers, di ba? So, for example, in this specific questions, how qualified are the teachers handling science in senior high school and CTA? Your interviewers or your survey could have the questions, what is the educational attainment, kung ano natapos ng teacher, kung major in science ba siya, kung meron ba siya mga trainings related to the subject, and are there any things na she have written or she have written books. So, it doesn't mean that she needs to qualify all of that. That you just need to know if these kind of stuff were made or done by the teachers, especially the educational attainment if he or she is a graduate in a science course, right? So, you need to conduct a survey or interview to get the educational attainment of the teachers. So, you will see that this question, when answered, so how qualified are the teachers handling science in senior high school in CTA? If this question is answered, whether yes or no, yes, the teachers are qualified, or no, the teachers are qualified, you will be able to answer your question, right? So if you were able to know, yes, my teachers are very qualified in this subject. So you will know that teachers are the positive factor in the status of teaching. Next, how adequate are the instructional and non-instructional facilities in senior high schools and CTA? So, in this scenario, in this specific question, in order to get the answer, you need to conduct statistics whether the number of equipments is enough for the number of students in the specific school. So again, conducting the survey, interview, or statistical tool to answer this question will aid you to completing your research problem. So, for example, in that school, we have 60 or 50 students per room. However, the students will only use one microscope and we have 10 students. So, would that be enough, right? Would that be adequate in doing the scientific researches or the activities for the students? So that will be able to answer your question. So these are only 2 examples of specific questions. You can lot more specific questions. Make sure that you will be able to conduct a survey to answer that question so that you'll be able to have progress in your research study. So those are the 3 things that you need to do before your research. You need to know your research title, know your research problem, and know your specific questions. With that, you will be able to visualize, kailangan ko palang gumawa ng ganitong klaseng survey para malaman ko kung paano masasagot si research title. Or, ito palang research title ko, ganito yung pagkakasulat. So, dapat si chapter 1, ganito yung pagkakasulat. Ito yung dapat kong hanapin kay chapter 2. Sa chapter 3, ito yung mga kailangan kong survey na gawin. Diba? So, with that, if you have those things, you'll be able to proceed easily in your research. So, that would be all. Thank you everyone for listening and enjoy your week. Bye!